Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we've got Divya Sasidharan. Divya, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. This is great.
Yeah. So, Divya, for those of us who aren't familiar with your work, do you want to give us a little bit of a kind of the background history, how you got to what you're doing, all those good things?
Yeah, sure. So I currently work at Netlify as a developer experience engineer. I'm pretty much on Jason's team. We work together. Um, and I work on writing content and building tools to help developers use Netlify better. So that involves like working on the CLI and like build plugins and anything really you can think of, just to make the workflow of transitioning to Netlify or ramping up on using Netlify easy for anyone.
Awesome. And so today we're not really going to be talking about Netlify at all. We're actually going to be talking about Vue
Yeah.
because you are a Vue expert, and I am not. And so-
We'll get there. We'll get
yeah.
there.
So what I thought would be fun today is I've written like extremely limited Vue. I think I've done a little bit with Shirley Wu on
Yeah.
the project we're working on with data visualization, but like we don't really use Vue. We're kind of like
Hmm.
just Vue is like a wrapper, and most of the work we're doing is in the SVG. So
Yeah.
I thought it would be really fun to just kind of start from zero because that's really my level of understanding of Vue. The stuff that I've done
Totally.
previously has been like, okay, copy paste this, write
Yeah.
this. I don't know why it works, but it works. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, we're gonna dig into Vue. And what I think is really exciting about your particular expertise is that you have also worked a lot with React,
Hmm.
which is my primary language, and I think a lot of people who watch the stream. So I think you bring a really unique view on this, where uh, you're going to be able to understand my questions when I'm like, well, why doesn't it work like React, or how does this draw a parallel to React? Um, and you actually gave a whole talk on this, which I should have pulled up.
Yeah. There's
Um,
the,
oh no, is that my connection or yours?
the two.
I think you just froze on us.
Oh, yeah. I'm back,
But
I
I did
think.
just find the talk, so I'm going to drop that into
Hooray.
the chat.
Yes.
You just got blitzed. What just happened?
I have
Oh,
no
oh,
idea.
oh, it's the talk. I was
It's
like,
the
wait, did I add extra sound effects when I wasn't paying attention?
What is being blitzed? What does blitzed mean?
Okay, so this one has a little bit of background. The my nickname is Blitz Jackson
Ah,
because
okay.
there was a spree of podcasts where like every single one of them spelled my name wrong.
I see.
So we decided that I needed a more easily spellable name.
Oh, okay.
Um, really, really, you're coming in that far? Okay. I mean, I get it. It's kind of hurtful for me.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, so I think it like Swix noticed that everybody had spelled my name wrong, and then I think
Okay.
we like workshopped the Blitz Jackson thing, and then I was on a show a while back, and somebody said that like they were like, you just got Blitz, and I was like, oh well, that's got to be a catchphrase, um, and that's how we got to now.
Cool. Cool. I like backstories. This is great.
So okay, I have the View homepage up, and that's as far as I've gotten. So what should we do next?
A really good start is to pretty much open up like your terminal and start with a boilerplate Vue CLI project. So
Okay,
we can start from that. It's like if you have Vue, it's
okay.
essentially like Vue create, and then you name your specific um, file, like whatever you want the
So
folder
this
to.
is like what the folder will be called.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
the folder will be called.
perfect. So I am
And then
running.
that takes you through like you can either do the default settings, which will
Okay,
just set up like a regular Vue project, which I think we can start with, because the manual features is where you start thinking about routing and Vuex and state management.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna choose the default, and we are creating, going through the install. All right. And so out of the box, does Vue you said that you have to think about routing and stuff in the manual setup.
Mhm.
What does Vue come with out of the box?
So out of the box, Vue essentially comes with the single file components that you're familiar with. If you open it, you'll see all the different files, but it doesn't give you routing. When I say it doesn't give you routing, I mean the intricacies of when you want to create specific types of routing. So in Vue, there's this idea of um, route, like gating specific routes. So if you want to protect specific routes from being accessed, you can do that with a router file, but that requires you to actually configure the router because out of the box, it works as a single page application. So it's
Hmm.
fairly straightforward. But the moment you wanted to add specific redirects and protected routes, like global guards, I think is what they call it, or
Okay.
navigation guards, you would have to create a router file. And same for state management, which is, I believe, similar for React as well. Like if you create a React project, you don't get Redux out of the box, you have to add that.
Hmm.
So it's just additional complexity in terms of when you start looking at your application growing and scaling. That's
Got it.
things you need to think about.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I didn't put a lot of prior thought into this. What do you want to build today?
We can build anything. I mean, I guess a starting point would be just like how do we put things onto a page, like a message, a hello world. So I have specific things. If you go to the Vue documentation, you'll see like the guide is a really great resource for if you're learning Vue because it talks you through. It's under Learn and then this guide. It's a really good workflow in terms of how to get started with Vue. Specifically, it looks at declarative rendering as the first thing, which is how do you put hello world on a page? That's generally the first thing you want to do when you pick a framework.
Hmm.
Um, and then from there, you move into a bit more Vue specific concepts like directives, which is actually not too different from Angular directives if anyone's worked with Angular. And then there's also the idea of conditionals, like if statements and loops, like for
Okay.
statements and so on. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So let's I guess let's just dive right in, right? So maybe
Yeah.
what we can do is um let's see, what would be fun? Chat. Now's a good time for ideas. What
I, I feel like a very common example that I always start with is because reactivity is something that people talk about
Yeah.
um, as something that's huge with Vue. And so one way of showing reactivity that is an example I often use is the clock example. I think React does
Okay.
the same thing,
Okay.
which is just like how do you update a clock? Because it shows you just the specific intricacies and nuances of Vue and its reactivity system.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. We also got a suggestion for a sandwich builder, which I
A sandwich build.
that
Oh,
is
actually, that is totally doable. So, let me find it. I created this was a while ago. But I created a specific. You can yeah. Actually, that would be something. Let's try doing that.
okay.
I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if this is.
I feel like
It's
that's
totally.
extremely on brand for me.
It's definitely possible. So like I built I can't find it now, but I built a system that allows you to like pick coffee. So I'm not a coffee drinker, but I grew up in Singapore, and in Singapore there is like a specific name for different types of coffee.
Hmm.
So if you have like condensed milk in your coffee, or if you have milk in your coffee, or no milk or sugar, there's different namings. So
Okay.
based on the ingredients, it changes the name of the coffee.
Oh,
Let me
interesting.
um, and I built that in Vue just as an example of showing how Vue works. So I think we could actually build a sandwich builder sort of
I
thing
would
because it's very similar.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be super fun. And that's probably like we need to do that in the next 80 minutes. That seems fairly
That seems
straightforward, right?
doable, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to strip it down. Like it might not be the most elaborate sandwich, but we can choose
Right.
like, some bread, your main protein, cheese, no cheese,
Yes.
and like
Oh, so
maybe
we would
choose
need to
like
add
lettuce, tomato,
code.
onion, or something.
Yeah.
Um, that would be and that's a pretty good example too because
Yeah.
that's going to require us to manage a little bit of state.
Hmm.
It's going to require us to do some reactivity where we're going to be like filling out a form and showing probably just a list. We probably won't have any assets to like build a visual of a sandwich, but
Yeah. I think the visual part of it is going to take a bit more time.
Yeah, but I think that's. I mean, this will be cool because we could, we could build like our order, right? So
Yeah.
we can create a sandwich with like a list of the ingredients that should be on it.
Yeah.
And that seems like it would cover most of my questions about how to do certain things with Vue,
Yeah.
because it's taking user input, it's tracking some state, it's updating the view
Mhm.
with like details from elsewhere in the app tree.
Yeah.
Um, so that seems reasonable. So where would we start?
That's a good question. So I think maybe we should think about what we're like the problem space and just like kind of chunk what we're solving in pieces.
Okay.
Because that might give us a sense of like what exactly we should focus on working on.
Okay. So like the first thing, let's see. What are we building? So this would be like choose your ingredients, and so we would
Mhm.
have like type of bread, and
Yeah.
then we would have protein, cheese, or not, and then like veggie selection.
Yeah. Maybe condiments as well, if that's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
pretty good setup of a sandwich, and I think we can get pretty flexible with that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, and so then like we can probably simplify these a little bit and just say like white, or we'll go sourdough, wheat, or gluten free.
Yeah.
And then for protein, we could go like ham, uh, turkey, or
Beef?
what's a good like not like vegetarian option for a sandwich? Do you put like would you put tofu? That seems
No, I don't think
uh,
so. Falafel? Seitan?
Vegemite.
Vegemite?
All right, you know what? I'm gonna put that in because that's absurd.
That's not a
Um,
protein though, is
isn't
it?
is Vegemite a protein?
I think it's like more condiment.
Mm. Ooh, black bean. Yeah, black bean. That's a good one. Black bean. All right. So we'll say no cheese, cheddar, or we'll just go with Swiss.
Infused
Um, I'm gonna just keep these really simple: lettuce, tomato, onion, and then we'll say
froze. Yep.
mayonnaise,
Ketchup, obviously.
ketchup on it. All right, ketchup on a sandwich.
I mean,
I'm not gonna
I
judge
mean,
your condiment choices.
I'm mostly just speaking from like the Americans that I know. I
I
mean,
if
I
you
live
know
in
Americans,
Chicago.
do they
No, I
put
live in
ketchup on
Chicago, and
sandwiches?
we do not put ketchup on hot dogs. It's gross,
Ah,
but
okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah. Oh
it's
wait, hold
only
on.
mustard.
We're about to awaken an age-old philosophical debate in Chicago. Are you considering a hot dog a sandwich?
Uh, I mean, I think it is. I think it is. It's like, is a burrito a sandwich? Could
Oh,
be.
this is good.
I
So
don't.
I mean, unfortunately, this is only an hour and a half long show, so we don't have time to really dig into this. But I
Yes.
feel one of these days, I'm just gonna launch a podcast about sandwiches and just bring on
Yes.
people and debate.
I actually legit, I'm not joking, but I had a friend who was a lawyer and he was part of a case where there was like a sandwich shop that tried to sue a burrito shop or something, claiming that they should be the only like sandwich type store in that particular location. And so they had
Whoa.
to argue about whether or not a burrito counts as a sandwich. It was really
Hold on.
weird.
So do they win?
I don't remember. This was a long time
I
ago
feel
when I
like
was in
this is
high
a
school.
landmark case though, because that establishes legal precedent. Because if
Yeah,
you can legally like if someone got sued for burritos because burritos are sandwiches, now this debate takes a whole new turn.
that's true. That's true.
Okay. I feel like this is a good
I
this
think
is a
so,
good
yeah.
setup. So from here, it seems like I mean, in my head this translates to a form. Does that seem reasonable to
Yes,
you?
yeah, I think that's a fair assumption. Just all of the ingredients itself counts as a form.
Okay. And how would you want to set that up? Like it looks like
So I
we've got a
think
components folder, assets folder.
yeah. Yeah, so essentially we're going to be using a mix of radio buttons as well as checkboxes, right?
Okay.
So because some things like bread, you can't have more than one bread in a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a radio button, and you had checkboxes in the veggie selection. So yeah, I think we can start by creating a form.
And is that a component?
Yeah, so we can just like create a component called like, yeah, I guess form.view is fine for now. And we're essentially going to start building a form. So in Vue, the syntax for stuff is we essentially have templates, scripts, and style tags, which is how you start. So you would, or actually, you know what we can do? We can also, instead of having, I never like write this on my own ever.
Oh, is there like a helper?
Yeah, there's generally a helper. So like
Okay.
Sarah Drasner wrote a snippet for VS Code um,
Ooh.
that allows you to do like VBase essentially. We can write it out for now. I don't know if it'll be too much. Let me see. Doo, doo, doo. So I'll like send it to you.
Where did that get sent to?
Oh, I put it in the Zoom. Should I put it in the Twitch stream? I'll just do
Yeah,
it
go
there.
ahead and put it in the Twitch stream because I have this this
Oh, I
problem
need
where I
to...
can't get things off of this computer onto this computer without like manually typing
That's fair.
them.
Wait, how do I? Oh man, I didn't log into Twitch.
Oh no.
I like did not log into Twitch. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I can also like Google it. If is it
Yes.
Sarah Drasner?
Yeah, it's just like Sarah VS Code snippets for Vue.
VS Code. Because if you're looking for something, Sarah built one.
Oh, for sure.
That
Yeah.
seems to be
Yeah, 100%.
like
Yeah.
something that you can really just trust is that
Yeah.
Sarah has 100% built whatever thing it is that you're looking for.
Yep.
All right. So is this install? I've never installed snippets before. So click the extensions button. Okay. Go to extensions. I'm going to write VS Code snippet. And did I get it wrong? Oh, view VS Code snippets. There we go.
Yep, it's that one.
Got it. Installing.
And then install it, and that will give you.
All right, let me drop this into the chat. Okay, and do I have it now? Still installing.
Guess we should have done this before. Oh well.
No, it's all good. We're installed.
It's part of the sandwich preparation process.
So now, if I do, is it this thing?
I think, doesn't it automatically, when you install a snippet in VS Code, just like, yeah, it's VBase. So if you type in VBase, like if you, yeah, if you type in VBase and you tab,
do I need to like
should
close
work.
and...
Or do you have to like open, or what is it? Restart VS Code, or like it should automatically, I think.
You know, I think I may have turned this off because it gets really noisy. But if I hit Command Shift P to open this this palette, then hit Insert Snippet.
Okay, yeah, then, that's fine. That works too.
Yeah, so that got us here.
Okay, cool. Yay. Okay, nice. So this is like a boilerplate Vue file, which is the infamous single file component. Wow, it's very loud.
That's the corgi.
The corgi march.
Stampede. That awesome. Means we've used 20 corgi emotes in the chat now.
Oh, nice. I like these sound effects. These are cool. So the template is where you'll write all of your HTML. The script is where you write your JavaScript. The style is where you write all the styles.
Okay.
And so we'll be writing a form. So we can start with like the template itself and then try to add some functionality to it. So I would say we could just build like a form itself. Yeah.
Okay. And let's see, we want this to be accessible. So I will do a label,
Yeah.
and we can put the label. Let's do it this way. We'll do
Do you
it
do
for.
like input in the label, or do you do label and then input?
It really depends on like what I'm building, but for
Okay.
this one, I think we'll just do it in a stack. So we'll do label
Okay.
input.
That's fine.
And so this would be for bread. We can say choose a bread, and then we need an input ID bread, name bread, and type radio,
Yeah.
and value we said sourdough.
Yeah.
Does the radios you have to capitalize, right? Or
I don't think so. I think you can just do radio with lowercase. It should be fine. ID, name, type, value.
oh
Yes.
wait,
Yeah.
okay, so hold on. Now oh wait, how do we do this? Because we need a group. Because like
Yeah. So that's generally why I do label wrapping input. But I think you can also yeah.
so we need like this.
Yep. So you need to just rename
Okay.
the ID.
All right. Field set that is the thing.
Field set, yeah.
Thank you, Derek. And then field sets need. All right, I'm gonna do the wrapper. That seems like a better idea in this particular case because I kind of remember how this works, but I don't really remember how this works.
We can figure it out together.
All right, so we've got a label, and then we're gonna close our field set.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'm going to get rid of this one. And
Perfect.
for a field set, is it a legend? I'm going to Google this. Field set element. So you add a legend, and then.
Yep. And then the input labels, yeah.
Got it. Okay. So what we can do here is we can like simplify these a little bit. So we'll do label for sourdough. And then we can drop this, but we'll add a legend.
Yep.
Choose your bread. Okay. Then take this.
And then you're essentially recreating, yeah.
We said wheat.
We can we'll just write everything out for now and then we'll refactor.
Oh yeah, I like refactoring.
Yeah.
And then we had what, gluten free?
Yeah, it was gluten free. Cool.
Okay, that seems good. And then we need, or should we start with just like one and make sure that it's...
Yeah, let's start with one and then let's see if it worked.
Okay.
So we have our form and everything is fine, but we have to add it to the app.view file. So if you see in the project directory,
okay.
Yep. So app.view imports the hello world for now. And so if you were to run it, you'll just see a hello world. So what we want to do is we want to import that form. So we can change the hello world to form. So we're importing that form component. And then in the components as well, we want to use form. Yep. And then we can remove that message because we're not passing anything to it.
Got it. Okay,
cool. So then
this feels very Reacty. Like this makes sense to my brain.
Yeah, it's like similar in terms of the custom components.
Yeah. Okay. And so we've got that. And then I want to run this.
Yeah. And so you can open terminal and run yarn serve. That should run that view CLI command.
Okay, here we go. Starting development server. Uh-oh, I broke it.
What happened?
Cannot find module source data. What was the data?
We didn't add any data.
Wait, where am I? Am I in the right folder?
Hold on.
Intro to view.
Yeah, that looks right.
I'm going to delete this one since we're not using it.
Yeah, you can.
But
it shouldn't be causing the error though.
App view. App view.
Yeah. What's the error message you're getting? It's just like data.
Not find module source data.
So it's in main find module source data. Huh.
Source
Yeah, go to
data.
main.js and then so in the source main, yeah. App.view. That should work. What?
Are we telling it to look for something?
I don't think so. I mean,
What if maybe I'll just reinstall? No, it's fine. Okay.
yeah, it's weird.
Yarn serve.
It's a Babel issue because of main.js entry file.
What?
Huh. Wait, really?
Module build failed.
But if you run like default, like if you start a Vue CLI project from scratch, would that fail also, or is it just?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Should we try that?
Yeah. What was it?
See if it's like it's Vue create. You can do like Vue create throwaway or something, and then like try to run that with yarn serve.
Default. I did that with yarn. Okay. So throwaway. And then I'm going to run yarn serve.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's not working. You know what?
How does
like
let me bump the Vue CLI version.
Okay.
Maybe
I think there was
something happened.
There was one version of Vue CLI. This was like a month or two ago that kind of broke.
That would have been when I actually installed Vue as well.
Yeah,
that was about when Shirley and I were on.
I see. Okay, yeah, because I think yeah, I think Ben Hong was doing an intro to Vue workshop and like Vue CLI.
Oh no.
It was not
optional. You can safely ignore. Okay.
If this doesn't work, we can also like move to Code Sandbox or Code Pen, and that should be fine.
Okay, so I've updated the Vue CLI, so this should be updated now.
Okay.
Oh no.
Please work. Oh man.
Why are you like this? Okay. Well,
it's like an annoying Babel issue.
That's okay. We'll do Code Sandbox.
Yes.
I believe I know I have an account.
It would be neat if this just worked.
So, don't make me do all
I know.
stuff.
Vue CLI has like so annoying. Vue CLI is super cool for those of you who are listening. It's a really great tool. They also have a visual like you can see all of your packages and stuff. It's really neat. It's a shame that we couldn't use it.
One of these is there we
go. Yay, security.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Okay, give me just a moment, please. One of these is GitHub.
To open up your Authenticator app.
I know.
So,
all right, I get it. Okay. Okay, so we're opening a Vue.
Yeah, you can do like a vanilla Vue, and then it will have everything. Hooray! Okay, cool. Okay. Let's like copy that. Perfect.
Okay. And
I think technically, if you like edit a file in Code Sandbox, it forks it automatically for you.
Oh, for real? Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. So if you like, oh, it's been taken. Okay, whatever.
What's been taken?
It's like an error. Has already been taken. All right, cool.
Whatever.
Thank you.
Go away. Yeah. There's no way that's already been taken.
I think honestly, sometimes Code Sandbox errors are just like just ignore them and it'll be fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I think we can just like add our form view, and then if it doesn't work, this will be very sad.
Sidelined by freak view
I
errors.
know.
Like how like I've never seen an issue where like the boilerplate doesn't work. So what a
I
tragic way
know.
to kick off.
That's sad. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
but that's okay. So
Okay,
this
cool.
is fine.
And then we need to add it to app.view as we mentioned.
Yes. So I'm going to import
Yeah.
form everywhere that we use it. I'm going to drop this
Yeah.
message. And upon saving, it should reload and give us our completely unstyled form. Are you going to do that?
Hooray.
Do it.
It didn't work. What is the console error you're getting?
There's an error? Oh, geez.
Or there's like
Cannot
a
read
console
toString of undefined.
What? Okay.
Import form.
That is odd.
Do we need to give the component a name or something for it to work?
Yeah, let's try to give it let's just name it form. But I don't think that causes issues. And save. Oh, Code Sandbox, come on.
Let's see.
Why is it taking so long?
I don't know. I'm just going to refresh. Okay, it's got our form.
Okay.
That's all fine.
It's
Transpiling modules. Here's a bunch of errors.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's working.
Is like it's not possible that like Vue is just broken right now.
No,
right?
it's not. It's, like I have Vue running and it's fine, but okay. Yeah, I also have like Code Sandbox running on my end and it's fine. Should we? Is there?
Oh man, we need an adult.
Can we try to rename the component? Like, is that the name? Instead of calling it form, can we call it like sandwich form?
I can definitely try.
Because it might be like a naming thing to be.
Okay, so we've got sandwich form.
Okay, and then we change that to sandwich form instead of form. Okay, and then that if we that can't be that error. What is happening?
Sandwich form. Sandwich form.
No, that should be right because it exists. And then change the name of the thing as well on line 17. Okay.
Okay, so it's trying stuff.
It's trying something.
Okay, so is it our component? Let me switch this back to hello world.
Yeah.
What about now?
But it didn't work earlier when we tried it.
It definitely did work earlier.
What is it's so frustrating.
Like what are you?
Okay.
Because this definitely works, right?
Yes. It worked when we forked it.
Okay, so
there we go. Yeah,
that
okay,
worked.
Cool. So can we go? Yeah, okay. So that worked, but our form
Sandwich form. Okay, it doesn't explode when we import it.
There, it has an error. Cannot toString of undefined.
Okay, but what's the undefined?
Can we go to our form and like let's look at it?
Do you need anything in here? Does the props need to
I
be
don't.
like
You don't
empty...
really need props, no. So maybe it's the way we wrote our HTML on sandwich form.
Are there any like catches? Like in how in like React you have to write class name instead of class?
No, there's not. You can write it just as you would any other. Name.
Okay, there's no possible way that
there's no way this is not working. Wait. okay, if we have, can we like copy? There, how? Is it, yeah, is it the empty, is it yelling because the style is empty? The style block? It might be like a code pen thing, or not code sandbox weirdness. So like if you just created, like removed it altogether or added something. Okay,
Oh, maybe
that
that
cleared
was
the
it.
console. What?
Oh,
That's so
okay.
ridiculous. Are you
Maybe it's
kidding
because
me?
it's scoped and it
Okay.
like is trying to do
No,
something.
usually, I mean, usually that shouldn't have caused an error. I think code sandbox might be. Because oftentimes what happens with Vue CLI is when the style is, wait, what happened?
it
It was the SCSS?
I think it's this. Yep. So we tried to, we were trying to
son
that
of a
error message
biscuit.
is,
okay. So that,
yeah, I think you have to, yeah, you have to add node sass and sass loader. But that, okay, yeah.
okay. So whatever it was, that's fine though, because it got us.
Yeah, it's definitely like that error message would have been more helpful in the CLI.
Yeah, that could have been much more helpful.
Yep.
But that's okay. We've got things running. We'll just keep
Yes.
building it here,
Hooray.
which is
Perfect.
fine.
Yeah.
So then we can do what? So I'm gonna just drop out this hello world because we're not.
Yeah, we can drop that out because we.
Drop that. Drop that. Yes. Okay. And I guess I'll also swap this out for like a build a sandwich.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. So weird mystery.
Okay, cool.
What is that nonsense? Get out of here. Okay. There we go. Much better.
Thanks, Code Sandbox.
We did it. Hooray. Okay.
Hooray.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have our bread. And we can, before we move forward, I think we can like refactor the sandwich. Or would you want to move forward and then refactor?
Let's refactor because that'll make us faster for building the other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So what we have so far is we have like a list that we copied and pasted for every single one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really useful time, or it's a time where it's useful to use a v-for, which is, as I mentioned earlier, this idea of directives in Vue and loops. So in documentation for Vue, I think it might be useful to just like see the syntax.
Okay. And conditionals and loops.
Yeah. So conditionals and loops, if you go to v-4, which I think is below, yeah, right there. So you see that v-4. So what's happening here is that you're essentially having an element, and to-dos is a list, which is in the data property. And you're iterating through that entire list and you're printing out that text. So to-dos is an item or an array with objects in it. So that li is just printing that text pieces. So you don't have to have an object. It can be strings as well.
But like I need this then?
Yep. So what we need is we need to create data, but data is generally in Vue. It's not shown in that doc, but it's generally a function that returns some things to it. So this uses, as you might see, new Vue. So that is like not using single file component type language. So the idea is that you're like just writing it in your regular JavaScript.
Okay.
But with, I don't actually know where it is, but we can keep going. So what we want with data, if you go back to your code, is that we want data to be a function. So we'll just have, like without the arrow. So it's just like it's data
like this.
Yeah, it's like just function, like like an anonymous function type. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And so then I just need
and then it has to return an object. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So then we'd get sourdough, and then the name would be, I guess we'll call it value. Sourdough, and label would be sourdough. Okay. save that. It looks right. So then I can come up here and let's do.
Yep. And then we're essentially creating a list. Yeah.
And finally, 3. Oops. Okay. And so now we need to loop.
Yep.
Okay. And
so this is kind of where I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this, because in Vue, there's essentially what you want is you want to iterate the input and the label elements.
Mhm.
So currently, they're like, in a way, what I would want ideally is I would want input and label to be wrapped in something like but I think semantically that isn't a thing.
Does Vue have like a fragment or something?
No.
Okay.
There's
that's
like,
okay.
we don't have
let's just put them in
fragments.
a div, right? Like that's fine.
Yeah, so we can just put them in divs for now, just to simplify.
Okay, so we've got it in a div, and
Yeah,
I assume we're not gonna be using these anymore.
No, so we can just delete all that, and what we'll do is we'll create a for loop, and so we're doing that v-4.
Okay. And
then we're essentially gonna do like bread in breads, or actually it's
I guess this
single
would be
bread.
like,
Yeah.
Let me.
You can call it loaves, and you can just say
loaves.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Loaves. I like it. Bread in loaves, like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess you could say slice. That would have made more sense. Never mind.
Okay. It's complaining. Why is it complaining?
I mean, are we actually?
Oh wait, we're not.
Oh yes, because
I'm in the wrong thing.
Yeah. So the other thing also with v4, which it will yell at you, and it has, is that when you do a v4 generally, and this is like boilerplate that you need to do, which is sometimes slightly annoying, is that when you do for loops, you need to have unique keys for every element.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to create a key alongside the v4. But we can do it in steps.
Okay, so I am going to copy paste this thing out because I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And we're going to move this up to here. Okay, and so this needs a key, you said.
Yeah. So it's a colon key.
Colon key.
Yeah. It's a bit kooky. Equals, and then like apostrophe, or what is quotes. And then you can just pass in bread for now.
Okay.
So that's essentially just like telling Vue, because Vue like yells at you if you don't do this. It's just a way for you to be like, these are unique elements.
Okay. Should we pass in like the ID or something?
Yeah, you can do that. So with v4, you would do like you could do bread.id.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So then if I want to use this, how would I actually get these values? So I have my bread.
Yep. So what we can do is we can just like, in order to do an as you might notice from the key, it's colon key equals. Okay. So when you do a colon before the attribute, Vue assumes that you're going to put in a variable there. So you could just do colon ID equals and then bread. And Vue knows that that is like a variable that you're using.
Okay. Yep. And then for value, I would do bread.value.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then I need how do I do the content like this?
And so for the content, I think in React, it's single curly brace, and in Vue, it's double curly brace.
So bread.label. All right. Okay. And then I also need the 4 to be the bread.
Yeah. And so you would do colon 4. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This makes sense to me. And now it's doing what we want. We can loop through them.
Mm-hmm. So that's like really nice. But I think the other thing we can also add is the idea of like a default element. So generally, I mean, I don't know if this is something you want. Whenever I create a form, I always want like a default selection in the event that, like when you get sandwiches, the default is wheat, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I think that that makes sense. I guess we could just make the first one the default, right? So we can say like default true or something.
Yes,
Or
you can do
is this
that.
how you would do it?
So I have a different way of doing it, but
Okay.
that's generally because like I mean we can do default true for now just because then it'll be like easier. But one way that I do it is I think about the submission of the form itself. So
Okay.
whenever I'm submitting, I want to know those selections. So I would create, let's say, like a submissions object and then have like bread be like an attribute within that object. And then that would have an element. And so that would change in a sense. So that's like something we can play around with to play with the reactivity system. So for
Yeah.
now, what we can do is in the return on before line 18. So like we can do like current bread selection or something.
Okay. And is that a const?
It's within the return actually.
Oh, within
so
the
like,
return. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
like
got
within
you.
the return before loaves. And then we can just say like, I don't know, sourdough or something,
Okay.
or wheat, whatever it is.
All right. So I've got this. And now to actually use this, we need is that an if?
Yeah, so there's a way of doing it. So I think with Vue, there's the idea of, I believe it's like, you can do like value and checked. So whenever a value is, the value is the actual value of that element, and checked is whether or not it's checked.
Right.
So what we can do is we can call like, the check. Okay, I'm gonna like go back a little for a second.
No problem.
Sorry, but like, so with Vue and with input elements, there's the idea of like whether the element is checked, and then you want the on change event as well. So I'm not gonna introduce vModel yet because that's like a magical concept for like how it works. So what we'll do is use the checked attribute for whether or not it's checked. And so what we'll do is colon checked.
I'm gonna break this into multiple lines so it's easier for me to read. So we've got colon checked.
And then you would essentially do whatever the value is. So the value is bread.value. So so bread.value, and then you would do like whether or not it's equal to the current bread selection.
Okay, and do I need to?
You don't need to do this dot. You can just do current bread selection.
Got it, and it just knows. Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it just knows. And so automatically we have that out of the box, which is really nice.
So that's cool. Now it looks though like it's kind of out of sync here. Do we need to update this whenever we?
Yeah. So what's happening also is that as you might, so I think it's worth maybe just printing out the current bread selection just to show you the reactivity piece of it. So currently current bread selection is sourdough. So if we like outside of the form, actually no, within the form after field set, this is like poor semantics, but I just want to show you because we don't have access to like the Vue dev tools, which kind of sucks because we're in Code Sandbox. But if we create a div and then double curly brace current bread selection.
Okay.
And then you'll see the current bread selection. And so as you're clicking, you'll notice that it doesn't change. Right. And that's because we didn't add an on-click event for that. And so let's do that just so that updates appropriately. And so for this, the way that on-change and on-click events work in Vue is you would do an @change equals. So you can do, it's just like Vue's way, @change equals. Okay. And then within that, we're grabbing the event. So actually, what should I do it inline, or do you prefer me doing it in a separate method? Let's do it as a separate method. So it's nice. So we'll, in abbreviations, we'll call the method like choose bread.
Like this?
In line 12. Yep, choose bread. Yep. And then in your actual script piece, we can do it after data. After the close of data. Yeah, so you do a comma and you would do methods actually. So it would be methods colon, and then open curly brace.
Choose. Yeah, that sounds like a campaign slogan. like an anti-gluten-free, like choose
Choose
bread,
bread.
choose happiness.
It's like that. It's like that milk, like drink milk. What was that ad for drinking milk?
Got
It was
milk?
like got milk.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's basically choose bread. And so for choose bread, it's essentially a function. So very similar to how we had data, we would just create, it's essentially just like open brackets and then
Like this?
on line 35. Yeah, so remove the colon.
Oh, so you're just calling it straight up. I got you.
Yeah. So it's just a function. And that's like generally, yeah, Darren had it in the chat. Yep. So that essentially is how a method is defined in Vue. Okay. And as you already added, we're grabbing that specific event. So whenever a user clicks on that specific radio button, that event is captured. And so if you've worked with radio buttons, you would know that it's event.target.value, which is how you would get that value element, right?
Event.target.value. Yep, that's right.
Would be grabbing that specific value. And so what we want to do is we want to change our current bread selection to that value. And as you might also notice in the template, we're just grabbing, for example, when we want current bread selection, we just do current bread selection. Mm-hmm. But whenever we're accessing data properties in the methods, we would do this dot.
So basically, if we're gonna touch data inside of here, we need to use this.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So it would be this dot current bread selection, and you can just do an equal. So you're just assigning that specifically. And so with that should update.
Here we go.
There you go.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, that's, I mean, so that's wonderful.
Reactivity. Yep. Yeah. So that's like kind of essentially how that works. There's also I mentioned this idea of vModel, which is the magic of that. So vModel is a directive in Vue. We don't have to change it to use that. vModel is just essentially in the tag, instead of writing, we create it checked and then we create it change and so on, we can truncate that so that it would just be v-model and then it'll be current bread selection, and Vue automatically updates it appropriately. But we won't do that just because that's a bit magical. Well, it's nice.
Yeah. So what we are going to run into here is we need to kind of repeat this for the rest of the ingredients. Yep. So if I take, I can take this, and then we want it to be, it was protein.
Yep.
And then our proteins were, let's move this to this side and this to this side, and then we'll have our README. Okay, this will help. So I can, come on. Yeah. All right. So we've got our protein. I'm gonna collapse that as well so I can see more. And our protein was ham, turkey, and black bean.
Yep.
Okay. And then we also need cheese. And we had none, cheddar, and Swiss. And then we needed, now things are going to change a little bit. So we've got our veggies.
Yeah.
And so our veggies were lettuce, tomato, onion. And I think like these values will be the same for checkboxes, so I think we don't need to change the data.
Yeah.
And then I think our last thing was condiments.
Yes.
And so we will say mayo, ketchup, missed one, and mustard. Okay, I'm not going to bother with capitalization. So for protein and cheese, I think, if I'm understanding correctly, I can just kind of duplicate these.
Yes, yeah, we'll do the exact same thing because the logic stands.
And I'll do cheese. Let's see. Whoops. All right. So we've got our cheese. And I'm going to make that one the actual name, cheese. And then we've got cheese ID and cheese label. And then we need to fix these two.
Yep, we would essentially have to create a current cheese selection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheese, and we'll start with cheddar. And then we also need to make this down here.
Yeah.
Okay, so choose cheese.
And you need a comma between the methods too.
Ah, yes. Okay, so let's validate. Wow, I don't know what word I was just trying to use there. Okay, verify that this is working. So I'm going to drop in the cheese selection. And this will be interesting too because we've got the different settings here. We've got wheat and cheddar, good. Swiss, none. All right, so this is doing what we want. So let's do this last one here. Was going to be protein. I forgot to add the protein.
Protein, yeah.
This one I'm gonna have to rename to like proteins. Okay. This is capital. This is capital. Okay. Protein. And we'll go with ham. Ham and cheddar is a good sandwich. Ham and cheddar on sourdough. That's
ham and cheddar.
All right. So then down here we need to do this and protein. Protein. Okay. Oh, and I need to make our current selection.
Yeah.
Wait, I did. Did I mess something up?
The
protein.
Oh, because it's not being selected.
Yeah. Protein dot value.
Current protein section.
Is it just not updating?
It's not selecting it either. It seems. Is that? Oh, is it because it's capital? No.
Oh, that's the label.
No, that's right.
Protein. Current
Choose
proteins.
Protein.
I think it froze on us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There we go. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Code sandbox just froze up. Okay. So we're doing it. This is working.
Perfect.
So now we need checkboxes.
Yes.
And so this is going to be different. And now I need your help. Now what?
Yeah. So now we can work on like creating actual checkboxes for our element. And so it's very it looks actually really similar, except instead of radio, we're using checkbox. I think the other thing also is that we don't need the name, right? Checkboxes.
You don't need a name?
I don't think, I mean, semantically, do you usually use?
Yeah, because I think that's what associates them as being like connected.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So we want.
Yeah.
We'll do veggie. Okay, so this part though we need to fix. So this will have to be like an in or something. And then this we'll have to toggle. So
yeah, so what we can do is we can just remove like the checked and the changed piece because that's gonna be different for checkboxes.
just remove it entirely.
Yeah, we'll just remove it altogether.
Okay. Okay, so this
Cool.
starts out doing what we want.
So it starts out doing what we want. Yep. And so the idea of a checkbox is essentially we're creating an array instead of like a single string, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's create that data property. Yeah. So instead of
Start it empty, I suppose, because
yeah, it can start out empty and then we will just like move the stuff into it.
okay. And so to do that, we would update because this is going to be like
yeah, or like update veggies.
Okay. So we want to check if it exists in here and remove it if so, and then otherwise add it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this dot veggie selection, wait, what do they call it? Current veggie selection? No, just veggie selection. Is it includes event dot target?
Includes.
Is this going to be easier?
I have to like remember the syntax because I always use vmodel for this.
I feel like this is going to be easier with like a map. Because I think it just has like lookup stuff for us, so that we don't have to do it ourselves. Because what I want is like we can do has and then check if it has the thing, and then we can do set and delete. So I'm going to do it like that if that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna set it as like a new map. And then we can do if has, then we will this veggie selection delete event target value. Otherwise, we will this veggie selection set.
Is it like set.
And then we would need. How do we want? And this will be fine. We'll do event target value and this dot veggies find where the v dot value equals event dot target dot value. This is a mess. That's I dislike that, but it's fine. It'll do it'll do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
So that way we're getting when we update, we're gonna check if the map contains this value.
Mm-hmm.
If it does, we're gonna drop it because we're toggling it off. And if it doesn't, then we want to add this value to the array or to the map so that we're able to use it later. So that means that we need to actually use this.
Yep. So what we can do is we still have value, right?
We just need to do the change.
So
right?
we need to do so for the change, it's basically at change, equals, and then you would call that
update veggie selection. Update veggie selection. Okay. Oh, I need to actually show this. So we'll
then we can try to see if it worked.
Veggie selection. Did I typo this somewhere? Veggie section. I did.
I don't think so.
It auto completed for me. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've got our veggie selection, but I think I need to do values or something. No, that's not what I want. I just want it to dump. What if it just goes to string? I guess guess we can just try it and see what happens.
Yep. Two-string.
Object map. Nope, that's not it. You gonna do it?
What is the type that veggie selection is at the moment?
It's a
Object
map.
map iterator. So you would have to like,
Turn it into an array.
yeah.
Then what do you got? Do you do what I want? Just become an empty array?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So then if
Okay,
I check
cool.
this, it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't update it.
It doesn't, but that's probably because I wrote the code wrong.
I mean, the at change event generally is what is being called, so we can try to figure out, like, debug that piece.
Yeah, let's just log from it and see what happens.
Yeah, we can like log it and then see what's happening.
Okay, so we'll start by console logging this veggie selection.
Mhm.
And then at the bottom, we can just log it again.
Okay.
Okay. So check a box. And it has, oh, it's a reference. So
Oh, it's a okay.
that's okay. That's good.
I mean, at least it's sort of working.
So it is working. I just don't know how
Yeah.
to print the values is my major problem here. And that's okay.
Yep.
So then I just need to teach me how to show the thing, though, is really what I want. If I... Oh, entries. Oh, it always gives you iterators. That's a pain.
Dot next dot no, it should be dot value will give it to you. Dot entries.
Oh, I don't want to have to... See, it starts out so easy and then it gets so hard.
I mean, I think also because it's like an array, right? So if you wanted to, you could do a v4 and then you'll deal with one single element.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go down like printing an array rabbit hole.
I think maybe I can just do get an iterator, and then that's going to give us a value. Okay, what about just... That's fine. I'm just gonna do this because I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So we'll have it. We set it, and then we can do dot. How do I want to show this? So we would do
Unexpected token.
Dot values, and that's an iterator. And so then I don't know that I've ever written an iterator. Like, what if I just want you to show me all of the values?
I have not written it this way before, so I'm actually intrigued.
Yeah, this is okay. Let's just try it again. JS map write all values. Maybe you'll show me. No, we were just looking at that. Map.entries. Can I just map against it? Okay, we're going to use my favorite method of debugging, which is to open the console and create a thing. So I'm going to create a variable called test, and it'll be a new map. And then we can test set 1, and that'll have a value of 1. Test set 2, 2. Okay, and so now we've got our map. And if I run test
dot entries was it? Dot value.
Map.
Ah.
Does that work? No.
It's not a function. Interesting.
Aha. Okay.
It
So
array
if
data from.
then what happens? Okay, so I'm going to do it with values. And that gives us 1, 2.
Okay.
Oh, that should have done the thing. That was what I did.
Yeah, I think that was like, did you do dot?
I did, and it didn't like it. Is it?
Huh.
Maybe I can like stringify. Okay, so let's start here. Choose one. It still doesn't like it. Veggie selection values.
I wonder if this has to do with like how Vue handles I don't know if that there's like some caveats with using Vue in terms of like how it handles reactivity.
Yeah. I mean, this is maybe what we should do is like.
I mean, yeah, we should just do a v-for and then like not deal with the array.
What if this works? This would be super cool.
Yeah, I agree. V-model will make this way faster, but we'll go down this and then use v-model.
Okay, so I'm gonna do veggie dot label.
Is it value or was it?
It should be the actual.
Oh, it just like automatically gives it to you.
Okay, so we need a key.
What is veggie? Oh yeah.
It doesn't like my map. Okay, maybe this was more work than it was worth. So I guess let's bail. Let's bail on it, and we'll do it a different way. So
that's fine.
If this veggie selection, we'll just check for a key. Then delete. Okay, else.
Yeah, I also think if we continue down this rabbit hole and we don't figure it out in the next few minutes, we can also use v-model because I think that's like generally that's the way that most Vue developers use instead of like having to. It's nice to do value and change, but sometimes v-model makes it way faster.
Okay, but why doesn't that work? Because this definitely works, right? Like we've got a lettuce
and
a value. I'm refreshing you. I don't trust you anymore. Oh, you suck. What is that? What's going on? My veggie selection. I'm gonna revert this back and see if we just like stringify it.
Okay.
Veggie selection. Okay. But it's still not reactive. It doesn't want.
Yeah. I'm just gonna propose that we bail and use v-model.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like we're reinventing things that Vue does for us.
Yeah. So like I mentioned v-model a little bit, but this is like really a use case where it comes in super handy because specifically when you're dealing with radio buttons, you're only changing an element from one to another, and you're always like changing you're overriding. So it's actually really easy to do that by yourself. But the moment you deal with like arrays, like a checkbox, for example, that becomes really confusing, as you might have noticed from this rabbit hole we went down.
Yeah.
So what we can do is that what we want to do instead of veggie selection on line 73 being an object, we can make it an array. And so what's happening is that we essentially want anytime we click the checkbox for that veggie selection to be added and deleted appropriately. Yes. And so what we'll do is we'll go back to the template where our veggies are. And instead of using the value and change, as you see on 52 and 53, we'll use this v-model, which we keep talking about. So to write that, it's just v-model equals. and then you're just going to give it the data property, which is like current veggie selection or whatever veggie selection it was. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that automatically updates. Vue does that for you, and so you don't have to do anything on your own.
Uh-oh. Okay. What?
Oh, you remove value. I think we still need that.
Oh yeah. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So
it just like takes over the change. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is, yeah. All right. That was way easier. Okay. But that's good. I mean, it's good that we did that, because what that shows is like, this is working with the tool, right? Like we're using something that Vue built to make this simple, as opposed to trying to like fight against it to do something that made sense in my brain, not being a Vue developer.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I like this. I'm pretty happy with this. So then we just need to do one more for condiments, and I think we'll have ourselves a fully functional sandwich picker.
Great.
Choose your condiments, and that's here. Call it a sauce, because that's really all we got. And we'll go to sauce selection. Okay. And then down here, I can actually delete this update veggie selection, because we're not using it anymore.
Yep.
And now, if I add one more thing here for sauce selection. There we go. We're building a sandwich.
Hooray! We have a sandwich.
So I mean, this is pretty slick. Like it's this. There are a couple hurdles for me to get through, kind of mentally. Like updating state, having it like there's data, and then there's a method to manipulate that data.
Yeah.
And whatever happened out here with Vue not liking kind of like plain JavaScript manipulation was a little headbendy, but this this model makes it really, really easy. So that to me seems like great. This seems like what we want. And so then we can use this model, this sauce selection, for like when we submit, we would be able to just pull the values out that we needed and send them.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Let's see. So we've got about 10 minutes left. So what I'd love to do, if we can, is have another component that uses the selection and actually build out like an order sheet. Does that seem like something we can do?
Yeah, we can try that. Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. So I want to build another component that we'll call order. And I want this one to, let's see. I'm going to just copy paste. And then I'm going to drop all of this. Call it order. I'm going to keep that in there because that seemed to get weird when we didn't. And for this, we will say div and your order. All right, so what I would love to do is show down here, like if we make this the heading, I would love to get the order in here.
Okay. Will we want that to like, will we then want our form to submit or something?
So I'm kind of okay with either. It feels like right now maybe what we want to show is how to get data from one component to another.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because like we could even use this as like a confirmation thing that would potentially sit next to the form. Like, you know, when you're ordering online, you always kind of have like, I'm choosing these items, and then my cart shows my order before I submit it.
Yeah.
We could kind of treat it like that. That's sort of what this thing is doing here, but it'd be cool to pull that out and make it its own component.
Cool. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So where should I start?
So we have our order, we have our sandwich. So let's pull it into the parent component, which is app.view.
Okay. And do we want to, so this is kind of an ordering question here. Sandwich form holds all the data.
Yes.
To get the data out, like I guess we could put the order inside of sandwich form so that we can just pass it down.
We can do that, yeah.
Does that seem like it would be more straightforward?
That is something we can definitely do. So we can have like sandwich form be the parent element and then order be the child.
Okay. Let's do that because otherwise I'm worried we're going to run out of time trying to pass data out of sandwich and then into something else. Does that?
Yeah, there's a way to do that with emitters. So essentially you could like emit and then pass down. But yeah, we can do it as a child element.
I feel like I already have 10 minutes worth of questions about that, so that's probably not.
Okay.
All right, so I'm
fair.
gonna import order from order, and then I need to add. Was it components here?
Yes.
Okay. I put it in here, and then I can set up my component, and I'm gonna have it say bread. How do I pass in props? Is it like this?
Yeah, so it's generally like you would pass it with a colon because it's the same idea of variables, right?
Oh, I got it. Okay, so like
Yeah.
this.
And then you don't need it would just be quotes.
Got it. And then I will do this for the cheese. Let's do it for the protein. Then we can do it for veggies.
Yep.
And last but not least, we will add the sauce. What we call that condiments. That's a little confusing, but that's fine. And then I'm going to drop these out.
Yep.
So now we're showing our order, and this, I'm assuming this works like props, right? Like as a React developer,
Exactly.
this looks very familiar.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're just passing them in as props. So now we have to define them in the order component itself. So in under name, and you saw this in Hello World already, you would essentially create like props, and then you would name all those individual props that you're using.
And is it?
I think it was like bread selection.
Well, so in here I just call them like bread.
Yeah, so it was bread, cheese, protein, veggies, condiments. So you would name them as is.
Are they arrays or what's?
So with this, you can create them as if you care about types, you can create them as objects. So that's sometimes what I do. So it would be bread colon curly braces, and then that way you can define the type of it.
Got it. So like type.
So you can say like type string, for example. So that's like really nice for just being able to check that that's always going to be a string.
That makes sense.
There's also the ability for you to add a required to it. So for example, if a component needs that. So for bread, it's a sandwich, you kind of need it. So you might want to add a required attribute to it.
Okay. So for bread, we need.
You could do like comma required true, which like then by that is just like something that needs to be passed in. Yeah.
Got it. And these
you
are
don't have to. It's kind of
boxes.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it allows you to define whether or not you want a prop to be passed in, because sometimes, for example, no one wants veggies. Like a person doesn't want veggies. So you might want to say that's not a required property.
Right.
I think by default, most things are not required. And if you define it as required, then Vue will yell at you if you don't pass that in.
So I'm just going to set this up as a list for easy viewing, and then we'll do kind of the same thing here. I'm not going to try to get things in yet. I'm just going to try to get the labels out. Okay, so now I want to get these values in here. And can I do that with just the double curly braces?
Yes. And then you can just like pass in bread. Yep.
Okay, so I'm saving this, refreshing this. Right-hand side instance of is not an object. Did I miss something?
Oh, I feel like I got this error before. And I always forget what it means. Right-hand side of instance. You need type string. Type. Oh, it's capital S string.
Okay. So I need to. These are like actual. I got it. I got it.
Yep.
Is array lowercase? Oh wait.
No, I think array.
Arrays,
I think array is uppercase, so it's like.
I think arrays might need to be objects.
And then it doesn't have to be in a string. Also, that's the other thing.
Like
it's like
no...
type. Just like primitive. Yeah.
Got it. Oh, so we're just using like JavaScript.
Yep.
How about now? What don't you like? You're fine. My bread is sourdough. My cheese is cheese. I copy paste this part. Protein. Veggies. How's that gonna do? Okay. And condiments. Look at it go.
Cool. There you go.
It's doing what we wanted.
Nice.
All right.
And you can even like, if you want to take it out of the array, you can even do like a v-for on specific pieces, like the veggies.
Yeah. So we could do it as like a span, I guess. V for veggie in veggies, and it would just be veggie.
Yep. And then that will give you ta-da, like as a string, and then you can do like whatever formatting you want. Like if you want, I don't know. We can style it in CSS as well.
Yeah, I feel like I probably just need to add a space inside. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll leave that. Okay. No, that's great. I mean, that's perfect. So this is pretty much exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it's doing all the things I would hope that it would do. So I'm happy. I feel like this is a functional app, and we came in right on the time.
Perfect. Yeah.
So Divya, I feel like the chat was super active today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Also, thanks. I saw Sarah answering questions. I really appreciate that. Derek, as always, you've been super helpful. Divya, where should people go if they want to find out more information about you?
I am on Twitter at shortdiv, so that's generally where I'm pretty active.
Okay.
Ta-da. Yeah, do not email me. I don't like email. But yeah, that's the best place.
Perfect. Well, cool. So, chat, as always, thank you very much for hanging out. We've got a couple fun things coming up this week. I'm going to do a solo stream on Thursday, so tune in for that. And then next week, it's not on the schedule yet. I'll try to get that fixed today. But Chris Biscardi is going to come on. That's Papa Party Corgi to those of you who are in the Party Corgi Discord. We are going to build the partycorgi.com website. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Pay attention to the schedule. We'll get that updated. Divya, thank you again so much for coming on. Chat, stay tuned. We're going to raid, and we will see you next time.